Are all people mentally ill?
I have no idea.
Is this the Dr. Ray?
I'm out of work. How do I find a job?
I don't know.
Boy, you hit the nail right on the head there.
Now, why would I say something so dumb?
I don't know.
I don't remember what I said. Help me out.
I listen to you all the time. You're my shot in the arm.
Well, it makes sense from your perspective and your individual brain.
And I guess that's true, but doggone.
Well, are you better than God?
No way.
I think I'm going to have to change this channel. I'm sorry.
Oh, no!
Great stuff, Dr. Ray. I'm glad I called.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Very nice to be able to be with you, as always. Program here is The Doctor Is In, my compatriots in Ann Arbor. Andrew Kruchek, producer man, and Eric Dumont, call Screamer. The number for you to get onto the program is 877-573-7825. That is not an easy number to remember. That number bounces all over the place, kind of like the national anthem. Singing the national anthem is tough. It bounces all over the place. And so does 877-573-7825. If I say that to you one time, there ain't no way you're going to remember it unless you've called it before or you've heard it before. So let's make it easier. 877-57-EQUAL. Acronymically, we will blend it with the numbers. 877-57-EQUAL. If you would like to call in to the program for whatever your reason, situation, circumstance in your life, that you just want another voice, maybe something to set you in motion in a certain direction. Or if you have a generic question, a lot of generic questions. I'm going to do something new today that I haven't done in all of these years, and it finally spurred me to do this, and it was my kids who actually spurred me on to do this. I'll tell you why in a second. People have called, but Eric left. Eric left. He did? Please keep calling, folks. Our call screamer had to go to the bathroom or something. Or if you have help for somebody else. A lot of folks call in. They've had similar circumstances, and they want to weigh in. Give somebody some direction and help. And some really good stuff comes in all the time, and I appreciate it very much from you folks. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you individually. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, it's going to take me a while to get through all 136 of my listeners, so I'll just generic thank you all. Now, my children, who are grown now, know that their dad has been on the radio from 1 to 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Well, that doesn't stop them from texting me. Not all of them. The ones that are out of state, I don't think they even listen. The ones that are in state, I don't think they even listen. But they can text. Or my sisters, they'll text during the show. Hey, Ray, give me a call. Only been 23 years. Tell you, get no respect. But that gave me an idea. In the past, there are those of you, listeners, who have texted. My doctor friend down in Columbus, he always sends in a good text. Will, thank you, Will. And, of course, there are others who will text during the program with a comment or a thought. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this open. I don't know how it's going to work. I have no idea. I'm going to give you the number to text. And if something strikes you, a point you want to make, but you don't want to go on the air, you either want to say something or weigh in. Now, I don't know how many of those I'm going to get. I don't know how I can get through them if there's a lot of them. But they will provide fodder to use in between calls or adding to the calls. So we're trying something very different here. It just struck me. And it may last a week. It may be a regular part of the show. I don't know. As President Trump would say, we'll have to see how it works out. So, if you wish to text a comment, maybe even a question, say, Dr. Ray, blah, blah, blah. Now, the problem with texting a question is, you know as well as I do, I ask questions about your questions. That's what psychologists do. You ask us a question, we don't give you an answer, we ask you a question back. It's the way we're trained. So the number, 330-903-8019, 330-903-8019. Now, that phone is sitting in front of me right now. Put it on silent here, so if there are any texts that do come in. Got that. Let's put it over to there. Got it. So at the very least, what you'll be doing is you will be interrupting my children. Now, see, something just came in from Wyoming. Sundance, Wyoming. But that's not a text, it's a call. And I'm not sure. Usually it's one of these spam calls. So, by the way, a friend of mine told me 50,000 in India spam callers. 50,000. No wonder you get so many, huh? From Tio in Southwest Human. Test text to Dr. Ray. Yes, Tio, I got it. There you go. She didn't trust me. She did not trust me. It's like, let's just see if he's just saying this. Let me read this to you. I've read it before. Now, you got to think about this one. This is from a guy named Michael Liccioni. Now, think about it, and I will spread it out. Life is hard. Then you die. Then it gets harder still. Unless you died before you died. Say what? Our Lord says, you must give up your life. He who tries to save his life will lose it. He who loses his life for my sake will gain it. So I think that's what he's saying here. Life is hard. Okay, got that. Nobody's going to argue with that. Although it's certainly in material ways a lot easier than it's ever been in human history, and we're spoiled rotten, but that's another story. Life is hard, then you die. Then it gets harder still. What he's saying is that if, in fact, you've ignored God, you've rejected God, you'd lived your own way, you had many of opportunities to believe and you ignored them, you rejected them, then your soul could be jeopardized. That's what he's saying. Obviously not making the call. That's what he's saying. Unless you died before you died. In other words, unless you did what the Lord said to do, which is to lose your life for his sake. To say, his way is better than mine. He's given us enough direction. I've got a book out called Jesus the Master Psychologist, and in it, I talk about 18 of our Lord's prescriptions for living. No, I just didn't segue into cheap pushing a book. But I talk about how they make sense. They make sense psychologically, and at some point, psychology's quote-unquote going to agree with them, even though they don't realize they're agreeing with the Savior, because most psychologists don't pick up a Bible. But that said, how they counter psychology. Just give you one example. Our Lord says, when you do what you're supposed to do, you don't expect praise. You say we're just worthless servants. Now, wait a minute. That goes counter to the self-esteem movement. I mean, it smacks the face of the self-esteem movement. Worthless servant? Did our Lord miss Self-Esteem Synagogue 101? How could he say this? Especially when other places he talks about our infinite value. So how can you say you're a worthless servant? Well, let's talk about translation issues. But nevertheless, he's saying, just do what you're supposed to do and don't expect aggrandizement for it. Okay. Oh, get some text all over the place already. All right. I got to go. I'm going to get to your phones. I'll take a look and see what we got coming in the break here. This may have been a bad idea. I got to find out. We'll see. There's already some good questions there, but I'm not certain I'm equipped to answer some of those. This is Dr. Ray. Thank you for being with me.
This program is brought to you by the following nonprofit underwriter.
Are you longing to hear God's voice? Lord, Teach Me to Pray, the free Ignatian Prayer Series will open your heart to His voice, to the peace you are seeking, and the only love that fulfills the human heart, Jesus. God is calling you to true joy, knowing Jesus personally. Lord, Teach Me to Pray is free. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com, click on the red box, order the Lord, Teach Me to Pray series now. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com.
So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Nothing illustrates the powerful bond between man and wife intended by God, the creator of marriage, than these words from Matthew's Gospel. A true marriage is a sacramental bond and is therefore indissoluble. The Catholic Catechism, however, realistically acknowledges that the presence of evil can severely strain this bond. Marital union has always been threatened by discord, a spirit of domination, jealousy, infidelity, and conflicts that can escalate into hatred and separation. The original communion of Adam and Eve was ruptured by their sin of disobedience. Their relations were distorted by mutual recrimination, says the Catechism, and brought about the pain of childbirth and the toil of work. Without God's help, a man and woman cannot achieve the union of their lives for which God created them in the beginning. This is Peggy Stanton, and this has been the Order of Malta's Minute with the Catechism.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Denha-Garmo. Your kids are grown, and the difficult choice of who will raise them in case of an untimely death has passed. Stop making excuses. Go to mycatholicwill.com. A legal will is short and simple, and thanks to our partnership with mycatholicwill.com, when you use the promo code AVE, A-V-E, your will is absolutely free. No hidden costs whatsoever. Visit mycatholicwill.com.
Well, I've already had somebody say, she writes me often from the Cleveland area. She says, yeah, Dr. Ray, probably a bad idea. Yeah, I think she's right. There's a lot here. One is, hello, Dr. Ray from Melbourne, Florida. Thank you. First time listening to your show. She didn't say if she's going to keep listening. She just said first time listening. All right, and then there are some other questions here. Paul said, real quickly, and then I'll get to your calls. Paul said, I'm driving home from work right now. I don't think your idea is bad. I happen to like Spam. I grew up in the 70s. Tastes very good. Okay. Let's go to our callers here. And anonymous female calling from New York. And I'm hoping that she allows me to get past her boundaries. Hi, anonymous. How are you?
Hi. Yes, I will probably let too many people pass my boundaries because that's kind of been my struggle my entire life.
Well, you got to tell me what that means. I don't know what that means.
So it's kind of more on an emotional level. Basically, my entire life, and I realized this recently in the past few years, and more specifically very intensely in the past couple months, because I read, my husband and I just finished reading Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud, and I found it to be one of the most healing books that I've ever read, because it really made me understand that I would tie so much of my emotional well-being into how others around me felt, and because I just have like a really astute ability to feel other people's emotions, like on a really deep level. And I found myself, I came up with this analogy the other day. It's kind of like, imagine you're training to be imagine you're training to be a rescue swimmer. And instead of saving people, you drown with them, because it's better to go down with them and make them feel better about drowning rather than pulling them out of the water. If
That's a good
having
analogy.
A negative emotion.
But are you saying, now this is, I'm sounding like a psychologist. Are you saying that when somebody comes to you with some situation, some emotion, that you get pulled into it?
Oh, 100%. Actually, I've gotten better about it since reading the book, because I finally found a way to describe how I was feeling. But yes, that was 100% how I felt. And I was constantly confessing resentment in the confessional all the time. And I didn't even realize it's because I was carrying around everybody's emotions all the time.
That's interesting because in the more traditional sense of boundaries, it is usually when someone's trying to manipulate you, control you, guide you in the way they want you to go, that you have to say, okay, wait a minute, that's not going to happen. In your case, though, for whatever the reason, you seem to be vulnerable when you listen to someone who's hurting or someone who's asking for your help, and you can't separate yourself from their own struggle. You can't listen objectively and then give whatever help you can and then back away and live your life. You can't do that, right?
Yeah. And actually, so I've gotten better about it within the past couple months since reading that book and like really internalizing the message, because I finally realized I'm not responsible for other people's feelings. And
so how'd you even come to the point where you thought you were?
I went through really hard times in the past few years, and basically a lot of people tried to manipulate me, and I see that in hindsight, but I didn't see it while it was happening. And I basically was trying to make a bunch of people with conflicting interests happy simultaneously, and I could not do that. And I think just part of some of my upbringing and some of what I went through and saw has to do with it as well.
Let me throw several things at you. And watch out, put up your boundary. I'm not familiar with that book. My sense is, my experience is, that books about boundaries, they they tend to parallel a little bit of assertiveness training. Assertiveness training was big in the 70s and 80s, and basically stand up for your rights and put people in their place and let them know where you're at. And assertiveness training can become obnoxious. And the boundaries books oftentimes become, they can lead you to a sort of self-centeredness, self-protectiveness. In your case, it doesn't sound like you had trouble setting boundaries. It sounded like you absorbed people's misery or their sadness, or you tried to make it right because you felt an obligation. Am I off on that?
No, that's 100% right. I mean, even so, it also helped me just to say no to people, because I would say yes to things even if like they were sinful in the past, because I wanted to make someone else happy.
Oh, okay.
So it was me trying to like play this dance where I'm appeasing people.
All right. Well, let me then give you just a couple of thoughts on that. I'll piggyback on that. You pretty much got to decide who you're going to allow into your emotional circle. That's the first thing. Somebody can drain you emotionally when you're trying to help them out and they just keep coming at you. So that's one. I pull back a lot. I have to. People will come to me, and it's like the old country song, you can feel bad if it makes you feel better, and they don't want to get any better. And I have to decide at what point to pack up my losses. That's one. So you might have to do that too. Secondly, I think you've got to look at why you felt so obligated. Was it your Christian duty to all of a sudden make it better? And if you didn't, then somehow you're not being a good Christian? I think that twists up a lot of people. It really does. That's another one. And then a third thing is you kind of got to pick and choose who you think you can help, because there's plenty enough misery to go around out there, my dear, and you get into all of it and you sort of say, oh gosh. And then here's the fourth one. You got to decide why it was so important to you that people think well of you, that you were going to cooperate with their sinfulness or whatever it was that they were laying on you, because you were nervous about them disapproving of you or not liking you or thinking, oh, you call yourself a Christian. So those are the things I think self-wise you got to explore. Maybe the book that you read did that. But those are just a few thoughts coming to my mind. So thank you. Thank you kindly for that call.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. All right. Oh, this this used to be my hotline to you. Now everyone in the universe has this number. No, that's not true. Not everyone in the universe. Maybe 136 of my listeners. Okay, let's go to Sue. Sue from Missouri has a 19-year-old son who is dating, and his girlfriend is pregnant. Neither one of them have a job. The son is still living at home and been dragging his feet. And Sue's saying, okay, where do we go from here? Hi, Sue.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, dear. Thanks for the call.
Thank you very much. I've been listening to you for a while, and I love your show. You've got a wicked sense of humor. Sometimes it goes over my head, though. So
wicked. I like that. A wicked sense of humor. Okay.
Keen.
Okay. What can I do for you, my dear?
Well, I just texted my son earlier because my husband came home for lunch, and he's like, I know he understands. We raised him the same way we raised the others. I know he understands, and I was listening to you the other day when you said, a child of 6 or 7 understands, they just don't agree. So I texted him today after my husband left because he's tired of dealing with it, and I've just kind of, I tried. I wanted to try before my husband, and that didn't work out so well. It was actually the summer he graduated, and I didn't move him to do anything, and my other kids are starting to get really irritated with him also and saying,
is he the youngest, Sue? Is he your youngest?
Yes.
So they're figuring, what the heck happened to Mom?
What, after 6, you kind of get
ran out of gas.
You dropped the ball, yes.
So let me see if I got this. You are now saying he's not being cooperative. How do I get him to be cooperative, right?
Right, job-wise. He's cooperative in everything else except pretty much. Except for that. He's a good kid.
Here's the old he's a good kid. Wait a minute, he got a girl pregnant. He's not stepping up with any kind of responsibility, but he's a good kid. Right. Okay. All right. All that said, that's part of my wicked sense of humor. All that said,
I like it.
It sounds like he's going to force you and your husband into making a decision that you're not going to want to make, but it's going to be the least bad of your options. Right. What are you going to do about the fact that he is not stepping up to take care of this baby? If he's not going to marry her, at the very least, he's going to, unless she doesn't push it, he's going to have to pay child support.
Right. And, we told him we are old enough to and have already 5 grandkids and of our older kids that are doing just fine on their own, and we've told him we're tired and, your dad wants to retire. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Well, so you hear what you're saying, dear? You're basically saying, we've tried reasoning with him. We've really tried reasoning with him. We've tried to persuade him. We've tried to debate with him. Well, this frustrates people because we think if we're reasonable, people are going to go, oh, you're being reasonable. Okay, well, I'll consider your perspective. When that doesn't happen, they force you into making hard decisions.
Amen.
So what are you going to do about him living in your house, not getting a job, and not supporting this girl?
My latest text explained everything again and said your dad is either going to have a mental breakdown or he's going to kick you out of the house.
Why didn't Dad tell him that?
Dad is really, his mind is really filled with his job.
Okay.
And,
all right, so he's putting it in your lap. Stay there, Sue. That hard music makes me have to take a break whether I want to or not. So stay right there, and we'll come back. This is Dr. Ray. I like it, Andrew. Nice one. I'm talking to Sue Here's the recap. 19-year-old son got a girl pregnant. He's at home. Seems to be comfortable at home. Sue's tried to reason with him. She basically said Dad is not taking a active hand in all this because he seems to be sidetracked with his job. So that said, Sue's saying, how do I get him motivated? And first of all, I think you've tried to get him motivated. And second of all, you're going to make a decision, and the decision is going to be, and I can't tell you what to do, but you have to decide, what are you going to do with him if he simply refuses to get out? There you go, Sue. That's what you're facing.
That said, and has told me, I think has told him at least once, if you don't get a job, you're not living here.
Well, yeah, that's a nice thing to say, but it has no bite. It has no bite. If you don't get a job, you're not living here. And then 3 months from now, if you don't get a job, you're not living here. And then 2053, if you don't get a job, you're not living here. You got to basically say, here's the terms. If you're going to do something like that, here's the terms. If you don't get a job by X,
right,
here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So there you go, my dear. I wish I could give you magic words to make your son say, Mother, you're so right. I'm being irresponsible. Thank you. Thank you for reasoning with me. Yes. Sorry.
Never heard that before.
No. Bless your heart, Sue. Talk to you later. All right, one quick text here. Dr. Ray, I know you're a weightlifter. The older I get, do I keep adding weights to increase my strength, or do I just stick with a comfortable weight to maintain? You want to build strength, you got to add weight. Or the number of reps you do per weight, you can go between 8 and 20. The research just more or less says the reps don't really seem to matter all that much in hypertrophy, which is to build muscle. But if you can handle this, you got to go up. You want to build strength. It is the number one thing as you get older, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You have to have physical strength. If you don't, all kinds of bad things happen to you. You fall, your bones get weaker. Pretty soon you can't even carry a milk carton across the front seat. No question. So, all that said, that's absolutely, you've got to increase the weight. And your last rep or two, you're feeling the fatigue. You don't just do 10 and go, that was easy, I'll do another 10. Well, that's easy. No, the last one or two has to be a bit of a push. Okay, who else we got here? Let's try Maria from Illinois. She has a niece and a nephew, first and third grade. This is a pretty straightforward question, at least from where I'm at. Hi, Maria.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, dear. Thank you.
So I have a brother. He was married, divorced now, not married in the church, but his wife, this was her second marriage. First marriage, she was married in the church. They have 2 children. My niece and nephew love going to Mass. They love learning about God.
Where'd they get that love from?
Probably me.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
So they've always, though, so she's a nurse. I still call her my sister-in-law. She's a nurse, and my brother works in a refrigerant chemical place where he is the supervisor, so he's got to be 24/7 available. There's times where he doesn't work a 8-12 hour day. So they love learning this. They don't have time to take them because of their hours. I brought up to him, when are you going to baptize them? They're to the age that they should start doing their first communion.
Are you allowed to take them, Maria?
I am. He has says, well, take them.
Well, there you go. Wow.
Okay, so we have, and I know, because of them being divorced and married with the second marriage and not being annulled, in my hometown, he has registered, and he did bring it up at one time to have them baptized because they were not married through the church, and she was married. The first marriage through the church was not annulled. They were frowned upon. he went to another church and registered there, same thing. So I'm like, come on. They're wanting to learn about God. They're sponges right now.
Kind of surprised. I don't know the details, but I'm kind of surprised that they were told the babies not babies anymore, but the kids can't be baptized simply because the parents are living a certain way. I'm surprised at that.
I was too. I was shocked as well. I just figured,
if you are permitted to take them to religious ed and to church, you got a wide open door.
Okay.
You sure?
Okay. So they also have meetings for parents.
Sure,
I
we'll
don't
go.
know if they're going to be able to make those, but
you go.
I'm willing to go. I've
You can
already
be
got
the
my
one.
3 kids grown.
Let me just give you this story. When I was out of the church, I had a Bible study at the local jail. And it wasn't unusual for any of the inmates who came to the Bible study to say something like, I'd ask them, why are you at this Bible study? Well, I wasn't raised with any religion, but I had an aunt who took me to church, or my grandmother one time. So there was some adult in their life that planted religious seeds. That's you.
Yes. Yes. And let me tell you a story. So when the little boy, my nephew, was about 5 years old, it was his birthday, and I gave him a cross because he was so much into it. And he opened everything else. I told my brother, let him open everything else and let him open mine last. Everybody was shocked. My sister-in-law's family is all Catholic. We're all Catholic. And he opened it up and he goes, it's Jesus! And everybody just kind of looked at him like, okay. And he was so excited. I'm like, oh.
See,
it was his best present he got from toys and clothing.
You know, I've become convinced that there are some kids who are just predisposed to wrap their arms around the cross. They just seem to have that sense of wanting to get close to Christ that maybe a sibling wouldn't have, or the adults in their lives wouldn't have. I know priests who were raised with no religion whatsoever, and yet they felt something pulling on them. So you go, girl.
All right.
Okay?
Sounds
All right.
good. Thank you very much. You have
Bye.
a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, come on, hurry up. There you go. Got that back. My screen keeps disappearing. One more quick question. Let's see. When is I'm going to hit a break real soon, so let me hit this question real quick. Okay. I got an iPhone 2. What happens to the bodies of miscarried babies on the last day? Well, our souls are reunited with our bodies. What will our bodies look like? Well, a lot of theological speculation says it will look like kind of in our prime, 28 to 32 or whatever that would be. Will we know them? Well, I would imagine we would, given at some point love is so powerful here on earth that it would seem, and this has been theological speculation, it would seem that love would continue in heaven, and the people that meant something to us would mean something to us there, including those little tiny babies, which, by the way, if you go by numbers, for most of human history, most people didn't make it past age 5. They were either aborted in the womb, naturally aborted, or they died of childhood illnesses. So that leaves you with the speculation that maybe heaven is populated by people who never really made it to earth. One quick text I want to address here. What a number it does to a kid for the church to refuse to minister to him. This is commenting on our previous caller that Dad found a couple of parishes that because of his marital situation were reluctant to baptize the kids. I don't really know if that's all the details, but assuming. I'm 72 and I still bear the scars. I found other denominations. My friend, I guess what I would say to you is that for them to do that to you would not be following, I think, the Christian charity. And I don't know what your situation was, so maybe they had to do that to you to keep Catholic church teaching. I don't know. But if it went against church teaching, then you don't throw out the church because of people who went against it. That is one of the biggest pieces of irrationality that now affects everybody. Those people did this to me in the name of religion. Therefore, I will have nothing to do with their religion. That makes no sense. They're going against religion. I could see it if they did this to you in the cooperation of what the religion teaches. It's like the priests who abused boys. They were going against what the church teaches. You don't look at it and go, oh, if that's the way the Catholic Church is, I want no part of it. No, that's the way those guys were. Okay, enough of that. Just got to get myself all upset there. Stephanie from Waterford, Michigan. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. All right, you tell those kids, huh? What's going to be happening?
Okay, I'm sorry. I was listening. I didn't hear you. I didn't know if you already said the question because I'm not listening to my radio. I was listening to the delay on the phone.
Oh, all right. I did not, so I'm letting you okay. Offer the question.
Okay, so I have two kiddos, one in college and one who will be next year. Currently, the one just comes home, weekends here and there and on breaks and in the summer. And part of it drives me crazy. She will stay up on her phone until, who knows, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then sleep all day. Mm-hmm. And the other
one... She doesn't get much chores to help you, does she, if she's sleeping all day?
No. I mean, she does help some, but just the phone being in their rooms drives me crazy. Mm-hmm. And the other one, who will be in college next year, is thinking of living at home, partially on my... I don't want to waste the money if he's going to college locally and to live in a dorm. So
you don't trust him.
Encouraging him
you don't
to
trust
stay
him.
home. I do trust him. I just don't want him to go into debt when he could save on room and board living at home. But again, I'm like, do I make a contract? I know I need to. I've kind of told him, I will treat you like you're in college and away at a dorm. And if you're playing video games for 8 hours, I won't say anything. But the other part of me, I want his room to kind of be tidy. And
why are you not allowed to have your conditions in your house?
Okay, so I am.
Well, of course you are. And if you say to your daughter, whatever you do with that phone at college, I can't do anything about. But while you're living here, the phone is done at midnight.
Okay.
I mean, you're allowed to do that. I remember I was 18. I'd come home from school. It was over the summer. And I was at a party, and there was this girl, and we just sat up and talked till 4:30 in the morning. Nothing. We didn't do any hanky-panky. We just talked. Mm-hmm. I really liked her. So I snuck in the back door. Slept in the family room. Told my dad, yeah, I fell asleep in the family room. Got away with it. Next weekend, same thing. Got away with it. Third weekend, Pop caught me. And he said, you have a 12 o'clock curfew. For the summer. I'm home from college. And I had a 12 o'clock curfew. He viewed that as his authority. It's his house.
Right.
See,
in your opinion, is that reasonable? Because sometimes I can be a control freak and maybe too many rules and too strict.
It doesn't sound to me like you are at all, just from what little you've said. I think a couple of things. Your daughter, the one who comes home, she probably has a couple of mindsets guiding her behavior. One, I can do whatever I want at college, and you don't know anything about it, so why are you trying to put rules on me here? That's one. And two, I'm 18 or 19 or 20, whatever I am. I'm not a little kid. I'm responsible. I get good grades. I'm a nice person, so therefore I can kind of do what I want. Am I wrong on those two?
No, you are correct.
Thank you. I did it on purpose because I just want to hear women say you're right.
You mostly always are.
Keeping a tally on that, Stephanie. So the question becomes, do you give yourself permission to say, in a smooth functioning of my home, when you're here, here's my expectations? Doesn't have to be ridiculous. I mean, you can simply say, this is not good. You're sleeping all day. This is not a good thing. Not a good habit to get into. Now, some people say, so what? Well, okay, if a parent says so what, then that's their decision. They can say so what.
Right.
But if you're saying, no, I don't like that. I don't think that's good. Now, one third point here. You did not mention your husband's opinion in any of this. And when you said you were a control freak, is he thinking you are?
He has no opinion. I mean, it doesn't bother him either way. So,
in other words, let mom do it.
Yeah, he's not a disciplinary. He's not a pushover either. He kind of just doesn't care. I don't think. Not
well,
that
then
he doesn't care,
I'm not okay. I'm not going to say I can't conclude. But if you say he's not a disciplinarian, but he doesn't do anything about it, then he's not a disciplinarian. In other words, if you go to him and you say it would be better for both of us to tell her this, then Dad doesn't care. Mom's the only one. Right?
Okay, right. But then what about the other one who I'm kind of encouraging to stay home? Now, he doesn't have that couple months of being away from mom and doing whatever he wants. He'll be home every day.
My son stayed home till he was 26. He got his master's degree, and he was home. Enormously cooperative young man. We still had some rules. Nothing too much, and Andrew never really pushed him all that hard. He was kind of easy to raise. But we still had kids at home, for example. And so, yeah, Andrew couldn't stay up till 3 in the morning.
Okay, what were some examples of your rules? Did he have like a curfew?
Well, he couldn't have the car and come home at 2 in the morning. No, that was not going to happen.
Okay.
Mostly for safety purposes. That's not going to happen. He was required to save a little bit of money. It wasn't going to be, okay, I got this money, I can spend it all on me. No, you can save a little bit of money. We kind of had it easy with Andrew. He just didn't push the limits, so we had it easy. But given that, I guess I could say, Stephanie, it was more or less, we're not going to let it get out of control. It's not total freedom. If I see how you push the boundaries, I have to decide if you're pushing it too far, even though you're getting older, and yes, you have more freedoms, and yes, when you're at college, you can do what you want because I can't supervise you, but this is still my home. And I think that's very reasonable.
Okie dokie.
Sit down with your husband. Say, I need you to sit beside me. Because otherwise it'll be too easy for your daughter to go, Dad doesn't care. Why do you care?
Right. He'll sit there. He'll sit there with me, but I have to say it, and he won't speak up.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me started on men these days. Do not get me started on men.
I know. Unfortunately, he doesn't like controversy, and
the culture has emasculated men, and the men have gone along.
Yeah, I getcha.
Makes a guy like me be toxic. Thank you, dear. Thanks for the call.
All right, have a great day. Thanks.
All right. This is Dr. Ray. I better take a break.
Your faith matters, and right now, it needs your support. From April 13th through the 17th, Ave Maria Radio is holding its pledge drive, and we're inviting you to be a part of something bigger. Every program you hear, every message of hope, truth, and encouragement is made possible by listeners just like you. Your gift helps share the beauty of the Catholic faith with thousands who need it. Don't wait. Make your donation during the Ave Maria Radio Pledge Drive, April 13th through the 17th, and help keep this vital ministry strong. Food for the Journey's Sister Ann Shield.
We have a tendency to make idols. We exalt other people to the place that really belongs to God. And we see it. We see it in sports. We see it in beauty contests of all kinds. We see all kinds of ways in which we idolize certain people. We elevate them because there's something in us that wants to be able to look up to someone. But that person is Jesus. And you idolize if you're thinking about them, if you're imitating them, if you're occupying yourself with the things that they do, we'd say, oh, no, I don't worship false idols. But in effect, we do. If our time, our attention, and our money are going to things or people that aren't worth it. We are to have the Lord front and center and the Lord exalted in our lives, everything directed to Him and back through Him to His people. But we human creatures, we go after something that touches us in some way, or we desire to be like them, and so we start imitating them, and we get ourselves sidetracked. Let's fix our gaze on the Lord. Let's imitate Him, and then we're going to know the kind of worship that sets us free.
Sister Ann Shields gives you food for the journey, weekday mornings at 6:45 and again at 11:30 on 990 Ave Maria Radio.
You got to say congratulations, EWTN radio partner KMBM, 90.7 FM, serving Polson, Montana. 16 years. 16 years on the network. They are part of the Mater Dei radio network. And I think Mater Dei is perhaps the oldest of the Catholic stations. All right. I want to apologize for those of you who I'm not going to get to. A lot of calls this show. Please, you call back. You will be first ones up. Veronica from Anaheim, California, or used to be where the Dodgers used to play. I don't know if they still do. Hi, Veronica.
Thanks to all. I just wanted to ask you, I'm a single mother of adult children ranging in the age of 18 to 32. I don't know, and I've had a discussion with them, but it's a few of them have a lot of resentment towards me or one another. They don't talk to each other. Gaslighting. One issue right now was one of my sons. When he comes to visit, him and his girlfriend, mind you, I work a lot. They come, they're like, we're here, here's your grandbaby, and they're just on their phone. And they're very sensitive. I can't tell them anything because they feel kind of like, oh my gosh, she doesn't like us anymore. For example, they were going to come visit me last week, and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy this week. And my son just randomly sent me a text with please let me know when we can pick up the baby stuff, because we know you're busy, and then exclamation.
Yikes. Oh, yikes.
How do I deal with them? Mind you, that son, I had not talked for over a year because he was just mad at something I didn't
Well, it looks like, Veronica, that's going to happen more and more. You can just say or do things that they don't like. You can't relate to them in fear. You have to. Yeah. Well, you don't have to, but it would be wise if you continued to say, I'm busy, or I can do it at 3 o'clock on Friday, whatever it is that's fair in your life. And if they can't accept that, there's not a whole lot you're going to do about it, because you're asking them to be reasonable and fair and tolerant. And if they're not going to be, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you're right.
You know, there's a lot of spoiled young adults out there. That's one of the things I've seen as a psychologist. These kids, even though they may not have been raised particularly spoiled, the culture has spoiled them. Our materialism has spoiled them. They're just spoiled. And they want it the way they want it. And if you don't do it the way they want it, I'm going to make you punished. They're like little brats. It's like little 3-year-old brats. And they do this to their parents, and it really makes me mad, because nobody does more for them in the whole world than their parents. And yet they turn around and they say, well, Mom, since you weren't ready, we're coming over and we're going to punish you because we want all the baby stuff, because you're not going to see this baby. That'll teach you, Mom, to not be ready when we want you to be ready. Oh, for heaven's sake.
Yes.
So I would tell you this, dear. Do not do backflips trying to figure out how not to make them mad. I don't think you can win that one. I think you have to be fair and honest and kind to yourself and them. And when they misinterpret it and react, you have to shrug your shoulders and say, well, I didn't do anything wrong. This is just part of their prickliness.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. And it's funny because one of my older daughters, when they come, they understand boundaries. They help me, or if I tell them I'm working, they're like, okay, guys, you got to go home because Grandma has to work. But they never come and lay the kids on me like that.
Well, sounds like this is the way your son does things, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. I got a feeling that your older daughters who are looking at this probably have opinions on what he does to you.
Oh, yes, they do. And it's funny because even my youngest is like, they just come and they're just on their phones. And it's like, are they coming to visit or
no,
to
they're
relax?
not. They're putting in time.
Yeah.
They're putting it. And sad reality here, Veronica, is that I see so many parents like yourself with older kids who are basically emotionally beaten up by the kids because the kids are grown-up brats. And because of that, the parents are like, oh, I'm trying so hard to get along with them, and I just can't seem to get along with them because I don't know if I say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing or they're going to write me off. Boy, you can't live like that, my dear. You just can't. God bless you. And for those of you I didn't get to, please, you call back, and I'm going to have to assess this whole texting thing. I got some good ones I didn't get to, but I got a lot of them. This is Dr. Ray. Thank you so very much. Walk with God. That's the walk you'll want. He's not going to get prickly on you.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.